Good evening. I'm Rachel Maddow in for Keith Olbermann, who's got the day off. This is Thursday, August 14th, 82 days until the 2008 presidential election. And on this day, on two separate fronts, against John McCain with Hillary Clinton, significant signs that Barack Obama is running a new kind of campaign. Or maybe that the common wisdom about his campaign has been wrong all along. The number 5 story on tonight's countdown, Obama grants the wish of some allies that he come out swinging against McCain. And shocking news, shocking to the pundit world anyway, that maybe, just maybe, he and Hillary Clinton really are working as a team. First, Obama versus McCain. So far, the Obama campaign has refrained from getting tough with McCain in most national ads, preferring instead to run relatively warm and fuzzy positive ads like the one that will debut Monday during the Olympics before a national audience in all 50 states. Here it is.
It begins with a plan to build. A plan to put hardworking Americans first. Barack Obama. He'll put the middle class ahead of corporate interests to grow the economy. End tax breaks for companies that ship jobs overseas. Help businesses that create jobs here. Invest in education. Cut taxes for working families. And make energy independence an urgent national priority.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Senator Chuck Schumer last week said Obama should respond to McCain's negative advertising, the Obama's not one of us stuff, for example, by highlighting McCain's wealth, to say that he, McCain, is the one who's not one of us. Senator Schumer, meet Indiana. Indiana, meet Senator Schumer. In some states, in battleground states, Obama is hitting back hard. Not on the issue of McCain's money, but on our money. The Washington Times reports that in an ad now playing in Indiana only, Obama takes it straight to McCain, using McCain's own words.
I don't believe we're headed into a recession.
Well, I think we're absolutely in a recession.
I sometimes struggle just to get the essentials, you know, the milk, the bread, the eggs.
There's been great progress economically.
The economy's in a rut.
We have had a pretty good, prosperous time with low unemployment.
The way the economy is, it is the bleakest of times. I'm worried. I'm really worried.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Still not enough, Senator Schumer? But wait, there's more. The Democratic Party released a new web ad for today's 73rd anniversary of Social Security. The star, FDR's grandson, tying John McCain to the big money powers who opposed Social Security in the first place. Still not enough for Schumer? How about we throw in this flyer from the AFL-CIO? More than 1 million of them going to retired union workers in the battleground states of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, reminding them of McCain's $100 million fortune, his 10 homes, and his family's corporate jet. The pull quote? If McCain lost his Social Security, he'd get by just fine. Would you? Joining me now is MSNBC political analyst Richard Wolff, the senior White House correspondent for Newsweek magazine. Thanks for being here, Richard.
My pleasure, Rachel.
So whether positive, as in the Olympics ad, or negative in that Indiana ad, are we seeing the big substantive pivot of the Obama campaign to the economy, the economy, the economy? Is this how it's going to be from here on out?
Well, of course, there are two wars out there, and those will still pop up regularly, and they are important issues. But there is something very important to recognize, not just the economy rising to the top of the polls, but the relative strength that Obama has on the economy when compared to McCain is significant. Maybe the most significant gap in terms of the polls between these two candidates. That's why it's so important to note, as you've done, the difference between the positive ads and the negative ads. You're driving up Obama's claim to being able to be competent and have a plan about the economy, driving up McCain's negatives with regard to his own competence with the economy. And the other aspect of the two-tone ads here is that Democrats often fall into the trap of being all doom and gloom, saying it's recession, these are terrible times. The importance of the positive ad is to say there's something aspirational, something that reaches to the middle class about Obama's pitch. So these tonal differences are important, not just the fact that they're talking about the economy.
Looking specifically at that AFL-CIO mailer, Richard, the AFL-CIO is essentially saying that retirees don't realize McCain has been pro-privatizing Social Security. Does the fact that McCain is himself 71 years old help him with senior voters? Do you think the AFL-CIO is onto something with the idea that he might be vulnerable on policy issues with older voters?
Well, if you look at the polls, obviously McCain has done some of his best numbers, some of his best performance with older voters, 65 and over. In fact, those numbers have slipped for McCain over the last couple of months. Obama has made strides there. So this is actually maybe a sign of weakness, an area where Democrats have obviously traditionally done well on Social Security, and an age group, an age bracket where at least 65 and over, McCain has lost ground. In fact, he's gained a little ground with the pre-retirement older folks, but you know, there's an opening there for Obama and for Democrats in general.
In terms of how negative campaigning works, people generally say that negative attacks work when they resonate with something that you sort of suspect about the target. Highlighting McCain's personal wealth fits into the rich white guy image of the GOP, but does that attack jibe with McCain's image well enough to gain any real traction?
Well, wealth on its own doesn't. I mean, you know, it's part of the American dream. It is, again, aspirational. It's not enough just to say he's rich. You have to say he's out of touch in some way or other, and relate it to policy positions that people may distinguish as out of touch, whether it's on tax cuts or corporate issues, lobbying, that kind of thing. So just saying he's wealthy and he owns an expensive pair of shoes isn't really enough, and that's why the negative attacks on Obama have been framed in terms of saying that he is out of touch. I mean, you know, it is a zero-sum game here, but negative ads do, by and large, work.
Richard, how far can third-party groups, whether they're unions or anybody else, how far can they go in attacking John McCain before they risk blowback against Obama himself?
You can go a very long way. If there is a lesson we learned from 2004 from the whole Swift Boat Veterans for So-Called Truth, it's that the blowback, when done by an outside group, is not very strong. And even when there are negative ads by a campaign, campaigns really generally get away with it.
Richard Wolff, MSNBC political analyst and senior White House correspondent for Newsweek, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Rachel.